Hello, welcome back to yoga, or if you're new, welcome to our Wednesday noon yoga that has been moved to distant mode because our YMCA is closed in Sandpoint. Today the theme is strengthening the core. So what exactly is the core? Is it that little diamond place between the top of our pubic bone and our belly button? Not really. And it isn't just a six-pack. When we're talking about a core, we're talking about a large area. One of my first yoga teachers used to call it the power pack, Debbie Dupree. It involves the diaphragm and all parts of the abdominals, the belly, the glutes, the lower back. It's a large area. In fact, I was reading today that your core consists of every muscle in your body that's not part of your arms or legs. The core enables your abdominal muscles to support the natural curve of your spine. Therefore, it improves your posture, alleviates back pain, and allows for better flexibility. And something I read today is a really big claim, but it would be wonderful if we can prove it. Being aware of your core muscles while doing yoga poses can be nothing short of life-changing. So let's get started on that. I thought we could start out with a simple core exercise, and I love the name of this pose. It's called the cosmic egg. So bring your knees up by your chest, hold on below your kneecaps. And one thing that's important about all this core work, but particularly now in Cosmic Egg, is to not let your lower back, your lumbar area collapse like this. That's very hard on that part of your back. So the antidote to that is to lift up with your heart, draw your shoulders back, bring back that natural curve, that lumbar curve. Okay, so this might be your pose, your Cosmic Egg, sitting like this. This uses a lot of core muscles. Be sure you don't involve the shoulders, so bring them down and broaden them and relax. All right. So if you can, lift your feet up off the floor, but maintain the nice back. And breathe. If this gets to be uncomfortable or you can feel yourself collapsing in the lower back, bring your toes down or your whole foot, both feet down, and just sit like this. That's plenty of good core work. If it's just too easy for you and you think, oh, this isn't doing anything, you can try a couple of variations. But just be sure you maintain your posture in Cosmic Egg. Breathe, get nice and tall, and then come out of that pose. And let's do some centering, a little bit of meditation and breathing before we come into this life-changing practice today. So find a comfortable place to sit. We've all been through this before. This is not the only way to sit. Find a comfortable place. And become aware of your breath. Don't try to change it. Notice it. Picture your breath coming into your core, into your power pack, and filling it up. And giving it nourishment. Close your eyes if you like. From your foundation, from the areas of your body that are touching the floor or the grass, lift up through your spine, all the way up to the top of your head. Get nice and tall. Right there, you're using a lot of core muscles. But you don't want to hold it up there straight like Frankenstein, so release it a little bit. Bring your shoulders down away from your ears. And bring your awareness to each breath. You'll still have mind chatter. Let's see if you can bring the breathing into the forefront of your screen. You might have a mantra for that. I sometimes use, I am breathing in. I am breathing out. I am breathing in. I'm breathing out. Relax your forehead and your eyebrows. Release your jaw. Continue to bring your awareness back to each breath. Honor each breath, that friend that has been with you since the moment you were born. Tug the back of your skull up and back just a little bit and see if you can bring your back of your neck a little bit longer, and then find release and relaxation there. How are your hands that are resting somewhere on your legs, on your knees, wherever they are? Are they relaxed? Your core muscles are holding you upright, so you don't need the muscles of the arms or the legs right now. And if you know the Ujjayi breath or the yogic way of breathing, by drawing the breath through your throat, in and out, go ahead and start doing that. I am breathing in. Pause for a moment. I am breathing out. Another pause. Breathe in. Breathe out. Let your shoulders release away from your ears. Find an upward curve with the outside of your lips so that you're in a smile. The brain likes that. And now blink your eyes open. I have a new camera person today, my husband Tom, and so we're working with some new equipment. Hope that we can get it to work. Take your legs out wide, and it doesn't need to be as wide as a Dallas cheerleader, comfortably wide, and then flex your toes back and point and flex and point. Make fists, bring them behind your butt, and then lift yourself up a little bit and come on down again. Lean forward with your heart. Okay, and then come upright again. Neck release pose. With your right hand, bring it to the floor on the outside of your right foot. With an inhalation, take your left arm up. We're going to try to open up the left side body, the torso here. So reaching up, and then come into the side bend, bending over to the right. You can have this supporting hand wherever it feels good to you. Yeah. Let your head go. Right now, you might be aware of these core muscles. You're stretching them. You can always take your heart and lift it up and turn it up toward your head, and then turn a little bit toward the sky or the ceiling, and get a nice opening. Let your head go. Now, stay where you are, but lift that left arm straight up to the top and turn your palms to face the front or face me, and then take the whole arm, the elbow, the wrist, and the shoulder back. Not too far back, but just so you can feel an opening in the collarbone area and the pecs, and breathe and fill that whole area of the left ribs. Bring the arm back, turn the palm outward, and here we go for a neck release pose. So reaching the arm down at an angle, let your head go. If it's more comfortable for you, you can turn your head down and find some places in the back of your neck to open up. You might find a place somewhere that you want to stay. And breathe. Now, using your core to come up, but leaving your head where it is, so you're not using your neck. Reach out through those fingers. Let the core help you, and then assist your head coming up with your right hand. And sitting here in wide ankle pose. Breathing in and breathing out. Other side, left fingertips to the floor. Inhale, take the right arm up. Now we're going to open up this side of the body, the whole torso, reaching up. And then take that shoulder and reach it down, the shoulder blade down, so you're just opening up armpit and everything else. And then come over into the side bend, as we did on the other side. And you can try the various positions with your head. Mainly we're opening up this right side of our body, getting lots of air into it, loosening it up. With your next inhalation, lift that right arm up, turn the palm toward the front, and then move it backward. Use your core muscles to lift up your sternum and move it over toward, so it's more facing the sun above. And then last phase of the pose is to take that arm down and actively think of letting that left ear come down. Finding those places, it might be in the neck, it could be anywhere where you can find some opening and some release. Come back to your deep, full breathing. And then coming up, reach with your fingers, let your torso bring you up, and at the very end, assist your head. So Tom, did I do the intro about what the core is this time? Okay, this is our third start, so I'm a little lost, which is not a new thing for me. Okay, let's do some ab work. So come down on your backs for elbow to knee. I'll give you 2 variations of this. Starting out, everybody's going to interlace their hands behind their neck and move your elbows up toward the ceiling. And you're nice and open here in the belly, so let that breath just come in and fill it. An important thing about strengthening and stretching is to let the muscle release between poses and let it relax so that it becomes more elastic. Okay, so let's all do the first version. Leave your feet on the floor. Inhale, fill your belly. Pause your breath, draw your back down to the floor. Exhale, stretch out the right leg and lift your elbows toward the left knee. Inhale, come back, foot on the floor. You can either put your head down or leave it up. Pause your breath, draw your back down to the floor. Exhale, other side. Inhale, come back. You can stay there, or you can bring your knees up like this. Pause your breath, draw your back down. Exhale, left leg stretches out. Stretch it out through the arch, really reaching that foot out. Leave your head and shoulders up. Inhale, bring your knee back to meet the other. Pause your breath, back down to the floor. Exhale, other side. Inhale, come back to the center. Big breath in. Pause your breath. Draw your back down to touch the floor. Exhale, other side. And now curl your tailbone up. Inhale, return to the center. Pause your breath. Draw your lower back down. Exhale, other side. Curl your tailbone up. Inhale, back. Pause your breath. Bring your lower back down to kiss the floor. Exhale, back to the other side. Inhale, come back to the center. Pause your breath. Exhale, second side. Inhale, come back. Exhale, bring your head down. Bring your feet down to touch each other up close to your buttocks. Release your hands and then let your knees fall open. Bring your hands to your belly and breathe here in goddess pose. Get lots of air into the abdominal muscles. Let them relax. Take a rest. Yeah, come back to that full breath. And then roll over to one side. Come on up to hands and knees for dolphin pose. Knees under your hips. Come down to your elbows. I like to pull my shirt up here so that I have good purchase on the sticky mat. Bring those under your shoulders. And even though you've done this maybe 100 times, I want you still to grab onto your upper arms so that your elbows are in a good position right under your shoulders and protecting the four muscles of your rotator cuff. Okay, so two variations. You can interlace your hands in front of you for more support or come out to parallel. Have nice big wide fingers. Okay, let your head come down. Come up into cat back. Let your head hang down. Breathe into that upper back and shoulder area. So right now you're using your core by lifting your front body up closer to your back body. Relax your neck. Turn your toes under. Press down with your forearms and lift up just a couple of inches so you're still bent. Your knees are bent. And then pull your hips back and lift them up a little bit. This is actually more difficult than straight legs. But here you can really feel the work of the core. You have work in your buttocks. You have work in your belly. Keep your head off the floor. If you're ready, you can start to straighten your legs. If you're not, that's fine. Okay, I'm going to change things a little bit. We're going to do head taps. So I'm going to turn so that you can see me. And I don't know with my ponytail if it's going to show, but I'm going to keep my head. I'll be in dolphin, so hitch up your dolphin a little bit. Move your feet closer to your elbows, and then press down with your forearms and lift your shoulders and head up off the floor. And then tap the floor gently. Lift and tap. 3 more. Up and down. Use your belly. Up and down. And 1 more. Up and down. And bring your knees down wide and come back into child's pose and take a rest. As you're resting, find those areas that have worked and maybe gotten tense and breathe into them. Bring your breath into them. Yeah. And then come on up. Just to get everything right with the world, we'll do some salutations now. So stand up and come up to the front of your mat for sun salutations. Standing in mountain pose. We could not do mountain pose without our core. We would be like those skeletons in the corners of yoga studios that have to have a hook to hold them up. We would just flop down. So we need those muscles. Bring your palms together at the center of your heart. Breathe in. Big breath in. Exhale, release your arms. Inhale, bring your arms up overhead. Bend your knees. Exhale, forward bend. Breathe in. Pick up your right foot. Put your right knee behind you. Come onto the top of that back foot. And then keep breathing in as you come up into this Anjanasana, really opening up the belly. Pause your breath, fingertips down to the floor. Lift that back knee. Exhale, plank. Okay, here we are. Core muscles drawing your front body up toward your back body. It's okay if your butt's a little high, but you don't want your butt coming down like this because that's not using your core. Okay, exhale, bring your knees down. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, come slowly down to the floor. Baby cobra, elbows under your shoulders. Inhale, pull your heart forward, get that belly nice and stretched out. Hands back under your shoulders, breathing out, move up into downward facing dog. Use your core to bring your right foot forward, left knee down. Keep breathing in as you come up into the smiling pose of Anjaneyasana. Exhale, lift the back knee, step forward to forward bend. Stay in forward bend for a minute. Investigate what happens if you engage your belly muscles in in forward bend. There you go. All right, to come up, I want you to use your backs of your thighs and your buttock muscles so that it's not all on the piriformis. And come on all the way up, arms overhead. Exhale, palms together. Other side. Breathing in. Forward bend. Left knee back. Coming up into Anjaneyasana. Pause your breath, hands to the mat. Exhale, plank. Bring your knees down in half plank. And slowly come all the way down. Baby cobra. Lift your elbows up a couple of inches and draw them toward each other. Shoulders away from the ears. Downward dog. Core muscles involved in bringing that left foot forward and keeping on all the way up into opening in the front body and forward bend. Lifting up, hands overhead. And exhale. Breathing in. Breathing out. One more without me talking. Right knee back. Plank. Half plank. Down dog. Right foot forward. And step forward to forward bend. When you're finished, your salutation may have been a different tempo than mine. Find mountain pose. Okay, let's come down to hands and knees and do some ironing board. I call it ironing board. I think it's extended table actually. So hands and knees. Try to find a flat back, so pull up your belly a little bit. And we'll start by releasing our belly down and come into cow with a big inhalation. So you're just letting yourself hang down. Exhale now, start drawing the front side of your body. You're using your glutes, you're using everything to come into cat. Do cow again and study what's happening with the core here. In order to come into cow, you are using your lower back muscles. And to come into cat, you're using all of your ab muscles. And then come to tabletop. And breathe. Let me see if I have room to do this. Okay, lift up your left arm, turn the palm in toward the center line, and reach forward. And so actually, let me turn around this way so you can see what's going on. I'm reaching all the way through and staying in tabletop, and I don't want to lean over on the right arm. I'm going to try to center myself, and once you get centered, then reach that right leg back, flex the foot, and reach away in ironing board or table or extended table. So that left hip might want to move out to the side, draw it into the midline. And then bring your hand down and your knee down and come right into cat. And then cow. And another cat. Tabletop. This time, right arm goes out, extends out. I've got a little couch for support here. And now bring the left leg out and make yourself into a long ironing board. Keep looking down so your back of your neck is getting nice and long. The core is important in balance. So you can feel that all those minute adjustments you're making now are using core muscles. And then bring down your hand and your foot and just sit back for a minute in embryo pose. Okay, standing up again. Let's do chair pose, Utkatasana, with a twist. So start it out as we often do in mountain pose. Have your feet about hip width apart, toes facing forward. Bend your knees so that they're coming along like on the railroad track or your skis, that they were going out from your feet, so they're not turned in or out. Put your hands on your hips. Bring your hips down. Okay. Now I want you to have your hands on your thighs, and I want you to push on the top of the thigh and get long in the side body, which will employ those core muscles. And then you can bring your arms straight out in front, or if you want, they can follow the angle of your body. Utkatasana. Bring your palms together at the center of your heart. I'm going to take a twist here. Left hand on your sacrum, right back your hand on the outside of the left knee. Now we're going to use the core to lift our belly button up and come into a twist here. There are several variations. This is one. Another one might be to bring that hand all the way down to the floor, or your elbow on the outside, make a fist and put your hand on top of it. Okay, so get long, whichever pose you're in, whichever variation. Get long. Use above the belly button to pull yourself up, and then let your head go. Actually, look down at your knees and see if your right knee has hitched in front of your left knee, and bring it back so it's in line. And then unwind. Forward bend. Hands to your shins. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, come up into chair. And find the usefulness of the core in chair. And let's come into the twist. So bring your left hand to the outside of your right knee, right hand back to your sacrum, and start moving into the twist. So you want to get long first to move into the twist. And if you want to try one of the variations, go ahead and do that. Once you find the variation that you want, start working the length of the torso, which will work your core muscles. Of course, this is also working your glutes. Look down and check on those knees, see if they are the same. Let your head go. Breathe. And release to forward bend. Bring your hands to your hips, bend your knees a little bit, and then activate your glutes and the backs of your thighs and let yourself roll up. Using your back body muscles to come up. We often forget to use those. Up to mountain pose again. Salutations B. Let me see what I've got for us. Okay, here we go. Starts with chair pose. Well, starts with mountain pose. So find mountain, breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in, palms together. Breathe out. Breathe into chair pose, Utkatasana. Forward bend. Half forward bend. Emphasis on the core. Exhale, forward bend. Step one foot back and the other into plank. We'll stay in plank a little while. This is a great core exercise. Draw your heart forward. Make sure your shoulders are right over your elbows. Pull your belly up toward the small of your back and get long. Chaturanga or knees, chest, chin down to the floor. Strengthening the back muscles and the glutes, which is part of the core. Salabhasana, locust pose. Palms back on either side of your hips. Inhale and lift up legs, knees, maybe thighs, shoulders. Keep looking down at the floor and breathe. Find those muscles that you're using right now. Those are strong core muscles. And then come back to palms together. Palms under your shoulders. Turn your toes under. Keep your shoulders high as you lift up into downward dog. Let's be in downward dog and think about core. Just become aware of it. Okay. Coming into high lunge. Let me see if this is the right side I want to do. No, it isn't. Okay. Bring your left foot forward for high lunge. So you want the knee to be right over the ankle and the back leg is really strong. And you can have the heel down or up. Balancing is more difficult when it's up, but flexibility is good. So coming up into high lunge. You can put that back heel down if you want to work on opening up the back leg. Find your breath. And open up into triangle pose. So notice I had to inch my left foot closer so it was in line with my back arch. Straighten both legs, straighten both arms. We're starting out in start pose, so really extend here. And now coming into triangle pose. Moving over like you're sliding across a counter as far as you can go, or you're really using the core now to hold our torso up. And then you can just let that left arm go down. I hope we're all on the right side, the same side. And come into triangle. Okay, if you want to test your core in triangle, find your foundation, two really strong legs. Bring that top arm over and reach toward the left wall. And then bring the left arm up parallel to it. That's core holding you up. Come back to triangle. Moving right into half moon pose, which will show how much the core means to balance. If you know how to do it, go ahead and do it. Otherwise, I'll talk you through it. So bring your right hand to your hip. Look down at your left foot. Bend that knee. Hop the left foot forward a little bit like a little kickstand. And move the left palm out in front of the left foot and out to the side a little bit. I'm going to have to move. I'm on a bump. Okay. There you go. Make yourself really strong. Lifting up into half moon pose. Yeah. And we're going to come right back into triangle pose, excuse me. So reach that back leg back, bend that front knee, and come up into triangle pose. And then use your core to come up. Bring your hands to either side of the front foot. Step back to plank. Chaturanga, knees, chest, chin down. Locust pose, lifting up legs and chest. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now bring your left foot forward for high lunge. And I'm not going to do high lunge because I'm having a revisitation of an old injury. Well, maybe I can do it if I don't lift up. Yeah. You can have the heel down or up. Having the heel up works more on your balance. Having the heel down will work on your flexibility in your leg. And then open up to star pose. Nice and strong. Moving into triangle pose. Reach that right leg forward, or right hand forward and open up your heart. And then let that right hand come down. Maybe the left arm will come up. And there's wherever your triangle is. If you want to try the core variation of triangle pose, you can take your left arm out and then your right arm, which I'm not going to do tonight. Okay, bring your left hand to your hip. Go ahead and do half moon if you know how to do it already. Look down at your right foot. Bring your hand down in front of your foot. Step that back kickstand foot forward. Place your palm out in front to the right. And then with the inhalation, come up into half moon pose on the other side. I wish I could see you all. And breathe, extend, finding the core in that pose. And this uses a lot of core to come slowly and in control back to your triangle pose. And bring both of your hands down to the front. And let's just step forward, forward bend. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, fold. Coming up through chair, push your heels down into the mat. Exhale, standing with palms together at the center of your heart. Breathing in. And breathing out. Okay, let's come down to the mat. I have two side planks to show you. They really work the entire core. We'll start out with dolphin plank or forearm side plank. So, once again, measure your elbows and come right into dolphin plank. I'm going to have to do this on the other side, excuse me. And then move or turn your feet forward so you're on the side of your foot. And if your shoulder is in front of your elbow, be sure you back up a little bit so it's straight above. And here you are. So the real core work is to lift your hip. So push down with that forearm and lift your hip up. And then return to plank, dolphin plank, and come down to Sphinx. Other side. Come back to dolphin plank. Turn your feet the other way. Press down into your forearm and lift your hip up in dolphin side plank. You'll notice that you really need to support that forearm down to lift your hip up higher. And then come back to dolphin plank. Come all the way down. Stack your hands one on top of the other. Rest your forehead there. Wag your tail back and forth. And take a rest. Okay, place your hands under your shoulders. Lift up into down dog. Be in down dog for a while. Down dog is so wonderful. Oh, let me see what we're going to do now. Oh, yeah. If anybody wants to do Vashisthasana, the full Vashisthasana, go ahead and do that. I'm going to do another variation. So pick up your left foot and bring it about halfway up the mat and turn the toes out. Okay? And then come onto the outside of the right foot. And here is Vashisthasana. Some of you will have both of your feet, one stacked on the other, lifting your hip up, finding the core in this challenging pose. Coming back down to downward facing dog. Bring the right foot up to the middle, turn it on the outside. Come onto the outside of your left back foot, and here we are, Vashisthasana variation on this side. Whoop. And back to downward facing dog. Walk or hop your feet forward closer to your hands. Come halfway up. Exhale, release into forward bend. Hold on to your elbows and start swaying back and forth like an elephant, bending one knee and the other. Trying to loosen up whatever has worked. Come into a squat. Very good for the lower back. And breathe. Yes, I thought I was healing from my piriformis injury, but I'm afraid the gardening has brought it back. But I'm wiser this time. I'm not doing all the poses for a little while. Okay. Let's come onto our backs and do bridge and see if we can extend this belly a little bit that we've worked so hard today. Feet on the floor at hip width. Fingertips reaching toward the heels. Now open up your palms and so they're facing up. And relax your shoulder blades down. I don't want you to be climbing up on your shoulder blades. And breathe. Press both feet firmly into the floor. Curl your tailbone and then start lifting your hips up. Keep that nice foundation with your feet. So you're pressing your feet, lifting your sternum, breathing, finding this gentle back bend. Draw your tailbone toward the back of your knees. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, extend your tailbone. And come out of it just a little bit and so that you can just relax in this pose. Breathe into your belly. And then come down luxuriously, one section of your back at a time. Yeah. Okay, this is one of my favorite things to do, and I realized today that it is using the core, and it's also a really fun thing to do at the very end of the class, which is, Tom, can you still see me if I'm off the mat? Mm-hmm. So we're in happy baby pose. I like to put my thumbs between each of my toes and nobody ever goes there. You can rub around in there a little bit. And then I'm going to start drawing my right knee down, letting myself rock, and my left knee down, just like a baby. Now the right knee is coming down, and I'm going to use my core to kind of lift that left buttock up and come up. It's easy, but it's hard at first. And then come all the way down. Bring the left knee down, lift that hip up, and come to this side. So you can try that a few times. My directions probably aren't easy, but you can watch. It uses a lot of core, and it's releasing. Okay, back to your backs. Have your legs straight up in the air for a little bit of inversion work here, getting the blood coming down into the heart and the brain. And you can play with your ankles or your feet, whatever feels good to you. If any of you have a wall handy and you want to take Shavasana with legs up the wall, that might be an idea. If your back's a little tender, you might want to take Shavasana with your feet on the floor and your knees resting against each other. Bring your knees into your chest, give yourselves big hugs, and then time for Shavasana. So finding your own comfort area where you can really release, have a little siesta. Today I thought just spoke to me of this long time that we're being asked to be very careful and not make each other sick or get the virus from anybody. I don't have a title for this poem. It showed up without a title, but I have a feeling it's called Patience. Patience is wider than one once envisioned, with ribbons of rivers and distant ranges and tasks undertaken and finished, with modest relish by natives in their native dress. Who would have guessed it possible that waiting is sustainable, a place with its own harvests, or that in time's fullness the diamonds of patience couldn't be distinguished from the genuine in brilliance or hardness. Begin to deepen your breath. Start to wiggle around a little bit. You're welcome to stay in Shavasana, of course. You're home. Draw your knees up to your chest. Roll around a little bit. Give yourself a good embrace. Congratulate yourself that you carved out this time for yoga practice today. Then roll over to one side. Keep your head heavy. Use your core and your arms to help you come up to a seated posture. Bring your palms together. Draw your thumbs right into your chest. Maybe you can even feel your heart beating. So reading that poem, I realized that I need to work on my patience with my piriformis injury. May your patience bring you wonderful harvests. Namaste.